All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Lee Doubleday and I'm with the Imagine America Foundation. And I'm excited about today's webinar with Lincoln Tech. Lincoln Tech has 22 campuses located throughout the United States, and these campuses have been educating tomorrow's workforce since 1946 and are accredited by the Accrediting Commission of Career Schools and Colleges. On today's webinar, we'll be discussing career and technical education with Lincoln Tech. And Lincoln Tech has an amazing history of graduating successful technicians for the automotive, diesel, collision repair, welding industries, among others. Lincoln Tech is also a 20-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 10,000 enrolling Imagine America students. But without taking valuable time from our presenter, let me refer any and all inquiries about the Imagine America Foundation and our scholarship programs to the Imagine America's website, which is www.imagine-america.org. Joining us today to discuss career and technical education is Josh Kean. Josh is Lincoln Tech's high school ambassador and has been helping students reach their career goals and working with high schools with Lincoln Tech for over 8 years. We're excited to have Mr. Kean join us today to chat with you about career and technical education opportunities for your graduating high school seniors. But before turning the program over to Mr. Kean, let me outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be approximately 30 minutes long, with polls during the presentation for you to answer and engage with our presenter like the one that you answered when you joined the call today. All participants can also submit questions while the presentation is in session via the Q&A feature in this Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, I will then present any questions offered by the participants. We'll address as many questions as possible and provide written responses and follow-up emails if we do not get to them. So, without taking any more time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Josh Kean. Josh, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Lee. I appreciate it. Good afternoon to all the educators that are here with us today. I'd like to thank you all for being here. And then once again, I'd like to thank Imagine America for having us here today. As we go through today, we're going to learn a little bit about Lincoln Tech. As I can see from the poll that was popped up, most of you guys are familiar in some capacity with what we do. We're going to talk about what our presentation is all about, talk about our programs, campus locations, and if any of you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to jot those in the chat box. Towards the end, I'm going to put some information regarding our scholarship tests in that chat box. So without any more, we're going to go ahead and get started. So there is a gap that exists between the skills employers want in their team members and the skills held by most of today's workforce. Most of the skills that are open and are necessary right now cannot be built at a four-year college or a four-year university. Here at Lincoln Tech, we've been turning graduates out into the workforce for over 70 years and helping them launch rewarding, exciting careers that are truly anything but desk jobs. So when we come into your classroom, I'm going to kind of lay out what exactly we talk about in our high school presentations. But before I get there, I want to talk a little bit about the campuses in the up there in the East Coast. We have 15 Lincoln Tech campuses located on the East Coast, offering a variety of programs. Skilled trades, which include automotive and diesel. We have nursing, medical assisting, computer networking, culinary, and many more. Our 40-acre East Windsor, Connecticut campus is the #1 in Connecticut for welding graduates and a top-ranked state for salaries and growth. #1 in New Jersey for automotive, HVAC, electrical, and electronic systems technician graduates. And our CNC with robotics is offered at our Mahwah, New Jersey campus. So now that you know a little bit about our campuses, let's talk about what we discuss in our presentation. So right now we're conducting in-person and virtual presentations. We're able to conduct virtual presentations via Zoom, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, or really and truly any other platform that you guys are currently using to operate in this virtual world. One of the first things that we like to talk about is defining a pathway to success. We talk about researching career paths, post-secondary educational opportunities after high school. So even if Lincoln Tech is not the best fit for your graduating high school seniors, we're going to present them with those options too. Our presentation is really geared more towards life after high school. We talk about managing a budget, and it's awesome when you're in the classroom and you can say, how many of you all just want to get by in life? Let me see your hands. All right, come on, everyone. Let me see your hands, right? And ironically, no hands ever go up because nobody just wants to get by in life, right? Just getting by means just having enough money to pay your bills. No extra, no dates, no new shoes, no new tires, none of that. It's just the bare essentials. And really and truly, I think that's when we see the light bulb as admissions reps kick on, because these kids understand money. They may not truly understand what's ahead of them, but they understand that they're going to have to make money in order to get out there and have the things that they want. We talk about the value of post-secondary education. We talk about starting a career versus finding a job. So for all of you educators that are here with me today, I'm sure that you can really appreciate the value of your career, right? You have great benefits, you have 401ks, you have retirements. And when you have students that, just say, well, I'm going to go find a job, and they hop from one job to the next job and the next job. And then, they never really go back to school because they've just job hopped around. We like to use the, just over broke as an acronym for job. And truly, that's what it is. Students or people are just chasing that dollar or 50 cent or quarter, whatever it is, raise that they feel that they can go after from job to job. And then we talk about financial aid and scholarships. And for us, this is probably one of the biggest hurdles that we see students put in front of them, or what they perceive to be a hurdle, is that they can't afford an education. Really and truly, at the end of the day, these students need to understand that this investment, or the education that they're getting, is truly an investment in their future. And while it may cost them a little bit on the front end, if they come to class, they show up, the results, and then long term, they're going to be able to lean on that initial investment for the rest of their life. So my first slide, first slide that we talk about in our high school presentations are success. And I'd like to just do a little exercise with the 9 of you that are here with me today. And I'm going to read the definition of success: the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. And I want you to think to yourselves for just a second, what is the definition of success for you? Can you truly define your version of success? Right? My version of success has changed drastically throughout the years, and that's okay. And I would expect that for most of you here. But you've always been able to define what success looks like to you. As a 17-year-old, you're trying to find that 18-year-old high school graduate. You're really trying to define what that level of success is. And most of these kids are just trying to find that purpose. They're trying to make a decision that's going to be impactful on them for the rest of their lives. Now, I want you to know, can you visualize? If you've got your plan, if you define it, can you visualize your pathway to success? Right? And now you start to talk to these kids about, okay, so you can define it. Now, how are you going to get there? How do you visualize it? Is it going to this school? Is it going to the workforce? Is it going to Lincoln Tech to take an automotive program? And then are you planning for it? Have you made, the proper arrangements to be able to really and truly achieve that success that you've planned for? And, I think the picture and I think the quote really speak volumes that I have here. There's a powerful driving force inside every human being that, once unleashed, can make any vision, dream, or desire a reality. And at the end of the day, I think all of our high school seniors have a dream. They have a desire to be successful. It's just somebody pushing them in the right direction. Now, if you look at the illustration or the picture that I have below, we have seen the troubles and the tribulations, the problems, the crashes, the difficulties, in order to reach that peak and ultimately find success. Our high school seniors or our youth, they've had to overcome little obstacles here and there, but they don't really understand that at the end of the day, that's what's in front of them. And that's what they have to look forward to upon graduation from high school. But we telling them, look, this is ahead of you, but at the end of the day, if we define it, if we visualize it and we plan for it, chances are you're going to reach your definition of success. So I have a graph here, and I've got some statistics here on the right. So why is CTE education so important? This is something that, most of us can probably agree upon that we need more skilled laborers, right? We have what's called a skills gap, and I'm going to get into that here in just a second. But when you take a look at that graph on the left of the screen on figure 1, it says, what workforce related factors do you consider when setting your corporate strategy? And at 81%, they're looking for long-term workforce planning. And why is that? Well, like I said before, our generation of skilled tradesmen or our labor force is really aging out, and we don't have enough people that want to get into these types of jobs: automotive, diesel, collision, whatever it may be, for whatever reason. Maybe some people think it's the stigma of a dirty job, or it's the stigma that I can't make any money in these types of careers. But companies are planning for long-term workforce because they understand that when they find these people, they have to be able to keep them on their company. They have to be able to, keep them engaged, make sure that they've got the benefits and all the other good stuff that comes with, being a skilled laborer to hold on to these folks. Now, on some of the statistics over here on the right hand of the screen, the one that really sticks out most to me is where it says 78% of CTE graduates enroll in post-secondary education full-time. So 78% of students that take CTE in high schools go on to post-secondary education full-time. They know that they're going to have some form of an education. And I think the pathways that most states and most schools are giving them tell them, hey, look, you're going to do this. You still got to continue an education here, but it's letting them get their feet wet. It's letting them get their hands-on training in high school and kind of giving them that, I guess, try it before you buy it mentality so that they understand what they're truly getting into. I think there's a lot of other interesting statistics here, but like I said, the one that really sticks out to me is 78% enroll in post-secondary education. And for guidance counselors and for people like myself, that's important, right? Because that's our job. Our job is to help students find their passion and either enroll into post-secondary education or find something out into the labor force that suits their needs. So as we roll on to the next slide, let's talk about the skills gap. How many of you guys have heard about the skills gap? This is a very real thing. As we look around this gear, by 2028, employers across the country are projected to add more than 3 million jobs in fields that you can train for here at Lincoln Tech, right? So 160,000 jobs available in collision repair, 946,000 jobs in electrical and electronic systems, 442,000 jobs available in diesel and heavy equipment. Now, 2020 has been a wreck, right? I think we can all agree to that. But if there's one thing that I think we have learned about 2020 is being essential, right? That term has been thrown out around a lot, essential workers. And when COVID-19 hit, people like diesel technicians, welders, electricians, CNC machinists, right? These were folks that didn't lose a day of work. They were out going to work. So if I pick one of these, right, I'm just going to pick diesel for just a second. And if we look at the diesel industry as a whole, you've got the trucks that ship our goods every single day to our supermarkets, right? They keep our shelves full. They keep the meat in the refrigerator, the eggs, the milk, all of that, right? So then you've got all of our machinery that's building our infrastructure. And behind all of that is a technician that keeps these trucks on the road and keeps these equipment up and going. Electrical, HVAC, right? Where I'm at today, it's 27 degrees outside. I don't know anything about HVAC. So my heat goes out. I've got 2 little ones at home. First thing I'm going to do is pick up the phone and call that technician. I can probably guarantee that if I had to call a technician at 2 o'clock in the morning because my heat ran out, it's 27 degrees outside, that visit at 2 a.m. is probably not going to be a cheap one. So, I think there's lots of opportunity for students that are hands-on learners that may not want to go to school and take courses like math and English and science and social studies. They're looking to get what they want to go into for the rest of their life. And here at Lincoln Tech, we have 2 types of programs. We have a diploma program and we have associate's degree programs. Our programs range anywhere between 8 and 13 months. Associate's programs can go up to 16 months. So you're able to get in and get out pretty quick through most of these programs. So let's talk a little bit about our history Lincoln Tech started back in 1946 in Newark, New Jersey, and originally our mission was to help returning World War II vets build marketable job skills and re-enter the civilian workforce. So for over the past 70 years, Lincoln has graduated over 250,000 students from 22 campuses in 14 different states. As far as the Northeast is concerned, these are the campuses locations. We have East Windsor, Connecticut, Mahwah, New Jersey, Union, New Jersey, South Plainfield, New Jersey, Queens, New York, Rhode Island, Lincoln, Rhode Island, Columbia, Maryland, Somerville, Massachusetts, Island, Paramus, and Morristown, New Jersey, Shelton and New Britain, Connecticut, Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And as you can see here on this slide, there's lots of programs that maybe your students be interested in, right? So automotive, collision, HVAC, welding, medical assisting, massage therapy, practical nursing, patient care technology, computer networking, culinary, much more. I don't want to have, spend all day reading these off, but for those students that, may not be headed down the 4-year college route, there is probably a lot of options for them here at one of our Lincoln Tech locations. So here at Lincoln Tech, we are a premier technical educator. As I said before, students are able to finish faster, start their career faster. Most programs range anywhere between 8, 13 months. Associates programs can go from 16, 17 months. Hands-on teaching, career services. This is one of those things that is just an unbelievable asset to most of our students. We have part-time job placement while students are at school, and then full-time job placement assistance upon graduation. Our instructors have professional real-world experience. We have both national and local advisory boards and financial aid and scholarships available to those that qualify. So I'm going to take a look at some of our skilled trade programs and break those down for you. First program we're going to take a look at is our diesel technology program. That's up in East Windsor and South Plainfield. It's an ASC training curriculum. Students are going to learn to do transmission, tear downs and rebuilds. They're going to work with hydraulics and air brake systems. It's a NATEP certified curriculum. The second program is automotive technology, and that would be at our East Windsor, Mahwah, Union, Queens, Philadelphia, and Columbia campuses. Again, ASC training, large shops, alignment racks, driving classrooms. We've got Matco tools for all of our students, computerized diagnostic materials. So when you pull into our school or when you pull into one of our shops, it would just be like pulling your vehicle into a shop like Ford or Chevy or somewhere along those lines. Welding is available at East Windsor, South Plainfield, and Columbia. Students are going to learn to MIG weld, TIG weld, fabrication process, horizontal, vertical, and overhead settings, arc welding, welding and cutting fundamentals. And then within our collision program, they're going to learn custom painting, airbrushing, and it's an I-CAR curriculum. So as far as HVAC, that's available at East Windsor, Shelton, New Britain, Union, Mahwah, and Columbia. Students are going to learn heating, air conditioning, refrigerator and freezer systems, green technology systems, residential and commercial applications. And then CNC. I think this is probably one of our most underrated programs. And for those of you that have a nice Yeti cup that's full of ice water and an iPhone that's sitting in your right hand, those are all things that are machined, right? So if we look at 2020, what's one thing that's been in the news? Ventilators, right? Every ventilator has pieces on it that are machined. Fishing spools, fishing reels, spools of fishing reels, medical devices, hip replacement, joint replacement. We could go on and on and on. These are all things that are machined. We've got the Haas Center of Advanced Automation, where the students are going to get access to multi-access machining, blueprint reading, CAD and CAM training, and then we also do a little bit of manual machining. Now, I'm sure that most of you here today recognize some of our affiliations. Companies like 3M, Ryder, H&R AgriPower, Matco Tools, Ford, FedEx, John Deere, H&R AgriPower. These are all companies that hire Lincoln Tech graduates. All right, we've got 70 plus years of relationships built, so 70 plus years of opportunities out there for students. So let's talk a little bit about our career services department. In career services, like I said before, we do both full-time and part-time job placement assistance. We have 2 career fairs a year, typically average anywhere between 60 to 100 employers. That happens once, like I said, in the spring and in the fall. We do resume building and we do soft skill workshops. So most of our students, not all, but most, they're really great with their hands and they don't really know how to, interact one-on-one with people. They're just not really sure how to answer questions within interviews. So Lincoln Tech has taken it upon themselves to make sure that when a student sits in front of their dream job employer, that they walk out of there confident that they have nailed that interview. We talk about the hidden job market. We talk about social media. It's one thing that I didn't talk about earlier. Even in the classrooms, our admissions representatives like to hit on, your social media. Make sure that what you put out there is appropriate because once it's out there, right? Kind of emulating some of the same things that you're telling your high school students. At our East Windsor campus, we actually have housing. So I know a lot of times one of the most, nerve-wracking parts for a high school senior is leaving their comfort zone, right? For those of you that went away to college, you understand that, right? There's just that little sense of that you're unsure of, what's to come. But for myself, I can say that leaving home and going away to college is probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. And it helps you grow up a little bit, mature a little bit quicker. And then honestly, if you take a look at the picture that I have up here in front of you, this is one of our complexes. So the students have access to all of the amenities, just like a local resident would have. So the weight rooms, these apartment complexes or these apartments have full-on kitchens, dining rooms, and typically it's 4 students to a apartment. Let's talk a little bit about financial aid. Financial aid comes in multiple options. And financial aid is available for those that qualify. Now, here at Lincoln Tech, over 90% of all students attending Lincoln Tech qualify for federal student aid. So financial aid is made up of a series of things. It can be grants, it could be cash payments, parental loans, institutional loans, just normal loans from a bank, and scholarships. And scholarships is something that I'm going to talk about here on my next slide, but that's a purely effort-based way a student can help afford their education. So what type of scholarships are available for Lincoln Tech? Well, we're here today with the Imagine America Foundation. There are opportunities available through their foundation. If you have students that compete in Skills USA or FFA competitions, these are national organizations, and we award scholarships at the regional, at the state, and as well as the national level. And that starts at anywhere between $500 all the way up to a full tuition scholarship. Now, Lincoln also has a scholarship test that we give. Now, in years past, our students have had to come to the campus and they've had to take that test on our campus. Now, what we've been able to do, obviously we're working remote, just probably like most of you all are, is that we have a scholarship link that we can send out to all of our high school seniors. And the way that this works is a 20-question test. The student has 20 minutes to take that test. And that student, once they take that test, they know they will find out if they're eligible between a $1,000 scholarship or a $2,000 scholarship. If a student scores high enough and they're eligible for one of those 2 scholarships, that puts them in the next portion of the scholarship program. And that's where these students will assemble a portfolio. Now, the students then in May, they'll submit their portfolios and Lincoln will accept the top 20 portfolios. We invite these students to campus and we put them in front of employers. Last year we had vice president from Dodge, we had a vice president from Caterpillar that actually did these interviews. So then what they do is they take a cumulative score of the interview, of the scholarship test, and then their portfolio. And then from that point, we give out half tuition scholarships, $10,000 scholarships, $8,000 scholarships, $5,000 scholarships, and $4,000 scholarships. So a lot of money out there that is available to your high school seniors. So what I'm going to do, if you have some students that could really probably benefit from attending Lincoln Tech, or maybe even just taking the scholarship test, I'm going to go ahead, right now, I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat box. If we get any guidance counselors or CTE teachers with us, I would encourage you to send this out to your high school seniors. Again, it's a 20-minute test. Most students take it in between 12 and 15 minutes. And for those that are interested in getting in the skilled trades, pretty much right away, they would know if they'd be eligible for a $1,000 or a $2,000 scholarship. Now, this year at Lincoln Tech, the students that attend Lincoln schools, we're awarding over $14 million in grants and scholarships nationally. So we're giving away a lot of money, trying to help these students out. And then again, there's other scholarships out there too. So like I have the one here for Mike Rowe Works. For those of you that don't know Mike Rowe, he's a huge advocate of the skilled trades. You can get on there and take a look at his foundation. There's scholarships, lots of scholarships money out there for him as well. So how does a student actually get to come to Lincoln Tech? We have what's called a closed application process. So each student that is interested in attending Lincoln Tech actually has to go through an admissions interview with one of our representatives. Now that interview is designed to determine a student's eligibility for recommendation into the program. Is this student the right fit for us? Are we setting this student up for success in the long run? That's what we're looking for. Does that student have the family support? Does he have the want to be successful here at Lincoln Tech? All of our interviews currently are being conducted via Zoom conference meeting. So just like we're here today, except we'd be video to video. And we encourage those students to be prepared. This is an interview. Dress in appropriately. If the students can get a copy of their transcripts, letters of recommendation, their parental support or their guardian, they have to be there. We're not going to move forward without letting them know what their students' plan for their future is. And then here at Lincoln, we do not have a GPA requirement. So no ACT, no SAT, no GPA requirement. So that's pretty much all I have today. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being with me here today. If you're interested in scheduling your high school presentation, there's a couple of ways that we can go ahead and do that. The first is you can take out that cell phone and you can scan that QR code and you can put your information in and I'll contact you within the next day or so. You can email me directly at jkeehan@lincolntech.edu, or quite honestly, the easiest way to get in touch with me is just shoot me a text message or pick up the phone and give me a call at area code 615-406-0447. So once again, I appreciate it. And Lee, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to you. If we've got any questions, now's the time.
Yeah, absolutely. This is now the question and answer portion of our presentation. So if you do have a question, please feel free to type it in the Q&A feature here. We did have a question. This person wanted to know, would you recommend this presentation to seniors or juniors and sophomores as well? And I wanted to let you know that we are actually going to be hosting a presentation similar to this one for your seniors on December 10th. And I will be sure to send that out to all of you so that you have the registration link for that so that you can send that to your seniors.
If I can elaborate on that just a little
bit.
Lee, I think this is a great message for all students. Obviously, your high school seniors and your juniors are the ones that are going to be making their decisions, the quickest. But I don't think it's ever a bad idea for a student to really start planning for their future. So we'd love to talk to any and all high school students at this point.
Awesome. Yeah, good point. Okay, another question. This person wants to know if the dorms are co-ed.
The dorms are not co-ed.
Okay, that's good. Okay. And then this person wants to know about upcoming virtual events. Is there some place on your website where maybe you do virtual tours or you have an events calendar of some sort?
So the schools are doing virtual events, and this is a really cool event where we're able to connect our future students with employers, former graduates, and current students. So we're able to get employers from pretty much anywhere because we're operating in a virtual environment. And these students are able to come on, and these employers will talk about, why they hire Lincoln Tech graduates. They talk about what type of money they're able to potentially make as a graduate from Lincoln Tech. They talk about the job outlook. And then they talk about some of the things that they look for in a Lincoln Tech graduate. I've had our, former graduates kind of talk on, come on and tell about their stories. And it's always important for us to make sure that we bring current students on so that, these students that are going to be graduating can ask students, they're just a little bit ahead of them, how do they feel? What's going on? What's the mood? A lot of students are, they worry about COVID-19. And I can tell you, and I can assure you that Lincoln has taken the necessary steps to protect our students. And I think we've done a fantastic job with all of that. So, it's a really awesome event. And I would encourage you, if you're a guidance counselor or an educator that would, like to attend one of those events, just let me know. And I'd be more than happy to shoot you the invite for the next one.
Awesome. Okay. Just a few house cleaning items here. We have recorded the session. I'll be sending the recording to you likely tomorrow morning. And we will have a quick follow-up survey when you leave this meeting. We're asking one question. We just want to know what you thought about the presentation. And if you wouldn't mind filling that out for us, it really helps us hone in on maybe some things we missed on the next presentations that we do. But before closing, I just want to thank you all for joining us today and taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us. And I'd also like to thank Josh for sharing with us today's presentation and encourage each and every one of you to contact him directly with any future questions. On behalf of the Imagine America Foundation, I want to thank you and goodbye.